Hello everybody. Welcome to today's stream. We're gonna get kicked off and be doing the same thing we did last time. We're gonna continue working on the Corvette. We're gonna continue where we left off with installing the engine wire harness. I figured out how to actually use the grease, which is not 100% necessary, but we're gonna do it anyway. Makes it more original. But other than that, today, what we're going to be doing is also, after we get the main wiring harness plugged in and situated where we want to go, we have a couple other bits and pieces here that we're going to want to do. We have time today. We have grounding cables, clips, more grounding cables, the main battery terminal wires, and a kill switch. And then more grounding wires. So, what we're going to do is go ahead and get started. We're going to flip the cameras around here so you can see the actual car mainly instead of my face. You can see a little version of my face down here in the corner. But yeah, let's get all this set up. Big pain. The hardest part of this whole thing is I have to turn around the entire stream setup so I can see it from working on the car because the car's on that side. So, move some stuff. And don't worry, we're going to start working on the bike again soon. We're just waiting on a couple bits and pieces to get here. And once they get here, it'll be full bore back into the bike. I actually have a couple ideas that can make the streams a little bit more fun. So we can work with that. There's different ideas of making things a little bit more interactive by introducing some, more challenges and stupid things to attempt to do. You back there. Hi. Yeah. So look forward to that. But let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with using this grease. I made the mistake of not doing this before I started installing the wire harness, but you will see why that's a huge mistake. Because, I don't know how well you can really see this, you're supposed to put this inside the actual connector. So, this is a sealing grease, not a dielectric. I thought this was dielectric grease, which makes things more conductive, basically. No, this is a sealing grease. So this grease is to seal the connectors so there's no exhaust fumes or something running through the open hole that's going to be there with the wiring harness. Since there has to be a hole in the fire wall. The problem with this stuff is like super toxic and staining and crappy to work with. And causes cancer in certain states, not other states, just California, because that makes any sense. But yeah, you basically you take it and you squeeze it into the gaps in the connectors. You just get a airtight feel-ish. This is 1960s technology, so it kind of works. I don't know. But let us go over there and do this first step. I had to put on the gloves because I don't feel like dying of grease-laden. It literally would stick to my hands and be on my hands for days upon days. So that is what would suck. So, need to grab. Remember last time we shoved it all down in here, trying to get the routing, which evidently was a mistake. We have an idea what the routing is, but we need to get this out, so as far as we can get it, which is not very far up. There we go. So basically what we are doing here is I definitely need to get a new tripod to be able to get closer to things. But basically, see these connectors here all come into the back of this plug. And because this car doesn't have every single option, not every single one of these is filled. So we have to fill in the gaps and fill in around the existing connectors. So what we're going to do is open toxic crap. Yeah, see, it's like black tar coming out of this. That just ruins anything and everything it touches. So, basically we just take this and we're going to squeeze it into the actual connectors. Openings. And the instructions literally are like, be generous. Which, you know, it's always funny when someone's selling you a product and say, use a lot of my product. These are little bits that you don't get to see on other YouTube channels. They don't show you all the boring stuff to do. It's really just squeeze a crap ton of this stuff in there and then just push it around, fill in all the gaps. And then this stuff has to dry to harden. So maybe by the end of this stream, hopefully within an hour or so, this actually hardens. They give you a little Q-tip to actually literally say, to try to make it look nice. Because you know, gooey, tarry grease sealing is ever gonna look real fancy. Looks like we basically got that filled up everywhere. This is what it must look like to be a dinosaur getting stuck in a tar pit. Yeah, and so yeah, just that. That crap is just unbelievably gross. All right. So we're gonna let that sit there for a little bit and let it harden. And we're gonna take these gloves and dispose of these. Use a little Q-tip and make it look nice. I don't know what nice looks like, literally with tar, but it is what it is. Take that. It looks nice-ish. It probably looks as good as it did in 1960. So, now that we've done that, we are going to move on to a couple of these little grounding wires. And I set all that stuff up there. Camera. Alright, so we one second. We're going to work on distributor breaker plate grounding wire and the distributor coil lead wire. So these are super simple. This is what is a distributor. So if you don't know, a distributor is the thing that tells the spark plugs what to shoot, when to shoot. It's a little older than modern computer controlled. So this is literally all mechanical, no computers in this car whatsoever. Computers barely were invented in 1960. They probably would have been the size of the car. But what we're going to do is we have this blue wire here. You can kind of see this goes from the coil to the actual distributor, and then we have a distributor plate that we had to redo the grounding wire on. Now it's not necessary that all these wires need to be replaced, but if we're doing it, we might as well do it anyway. Just to make sure everything is nice and new. So what we need to get is a wrench, and I may actually need to take the distributor off, it looks like. It would be a pain, but that's okay. Let's get a couple wrenches here. See which ones fit. I need to set up a game to, does he pick the right socket and people win things if I choose the right socket or not. First try. That would be fun. That'd be kind of entertaining. We can make bets. Go. 11:30 seconds. I'm just gonna come here and pull off. This wire. It's just a clip in there. The next one goes, yeah, it goes under the distributor. So I'm gonna pop the distributor cap off. And so all the distributor cap just has two screws, spring screws in there that you just need a big enough screwdriver for, that hold it into place. So you just push down and twist. Push down and twist. And then your cap comes off. So you can see inside of the actual cap, there's not much there. But the distributor itself, the way it works, and if I get this wrong, I'm sure people will correct me all over the internet, but you can see in here there's this bunch of little silver points, and basically this part of the cap here, right here, this little black piece, spins, and as this copper piece connects, that is what tells this, that's what sends the electricity to the spark plugs to be able to ignite. So that is a pretty simple system. Oh, hope I don't have to pull. Cap all the way out. I'm gonna have to pull the distributor all the way out. The reason I'm not unplugging is because I don't want to remember where each wire, when these wires go. So because these are actually all these plugs, these are the ones that go to the actual spark plugs, and each one of these is in a specific spot because that is the timing of the engine. That's when each cylinder should basically go off. So we're gonna have to run this through. I like this manual. Here's your wiring diagram. You know, super high tech. What's provided? Ignition coil distribution points inside distributor. Oh Lord. So you can actually see it come up and through. Which I knew it did, but I thought that there was more room to get that out. And see, this is the other, there's another wire over here. So you can see, these are your points. There's a little wire way down here. It's black. That's the other ground wire. It looks like that was replaced recently, so it's not that bad. And then there's this blue wire that's right here. Actually goes from here down through the bottom of the distributor into the actual distributor and goes to the same point the grounding rod goes. Now, the wire honestly doesn't look that bad of shape, so I'm probably gonna leave it because I don't want to pull the distributor out of the actual car at this moment. So we're actually gonna leave it. I know, super disappointing and all that. So we're just gonna put this distributor cap back on. Push down and half turns. There, good. Alright, so the wires that we have next are the main battery cable wires, or the starter frame grounding wire. This is going to be down underneath, so go down underneath. And see how we have to replace this. We'll see if this, I don't think I can get this low enough. Yeah, this is not even good. This is as low as we go for this camera mount, so. We're going to lay you flat. This is usually harder than actually working on the cars. Figuring out how to get shot. Oh man, how long has my mic been muted? Son of a... Well. Alright, so basically what we're trying to do is we're replacing the ground wire for the starter motor. Because it's in pretty rough. There's no wire. It's still wire, but it's pretty freaking stiff. So you can see here is... Right there is the end of the starter motor wire into the starter motor. And then the other end is connected to the frame. So let's get the one on the motor tightened down. And then sometimes you run into this thing where your bolt is too long for your socket, and you'll learn to just, all you have to do is put the socket on the bolt and then just stick the ratchet wrench or the extension in there, and even if it's not fully engaged, you'll still be able to use it. I have some people a socket that would have been the right thing to do, but as a mechanic, you just do what's easiest sometimes. Actually, most of the time. You do what's easiest. This is where we need an adjustable wrench. Well, you guys took a tumble. Alright, I'm going to assume that's pointing at it. Can't see if it is or not. This is where the bigger YouTubers have an advantage when they have a camera guy that can help. I was actually able to just hold that with my thumb. Latched in. Ah. Ugh. In the eyes. Alright, so the new grounding wire is in. Compare that to the old one. That was in here. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit better of a shape, but it does the exact same thing. Old wires probably still would have been fine for another 10 years, but if we're replacing most of the wiring in this thing anyway, might as well do it all while you can. Right. So, back out from underneath the car. Okay, so the next step is to actually do the battery terminals now. Now it's gonna sound weird, but I am so unbelievably excited about the battery terminals. I'm sure if any other Corvette owners out there will understand, these 69 Corvette owners out there. The battery placement in this car is awful. When you get it, you think, oh yeah, that's super, super convenient. It's you know, weight distribution, it's in the back, it's behind the driver, it's in its own little compartment, and all this other stuff that you think is fantastic. And then you realize it is impossible to work on because this is the 60s. So the batteries, cables that it comes with are not similar to this. So you have a connection point to the frame, you have a connection point to the battery terminal. This is different on the original one. The original is what's called a side post battery terminal. And I'll show you that in a minute. But basically, instead of going over the top off the little nub that 90% of the people in the world know of, when you think of battery, basically it's like this, and it just slides on top like that. That 900%, 99% of cars do nowadays. This had what's called a side post. So the side post battery actually screws into the battery itself on the front half of it. So what I will show you, I'll take you over there and go look at the battery that's in the car. It's a dead battery, but switch over to this. Alright, let's go look at this real quick so you can see the nightmare that exists. Hello. So, that is a normal battery everyone in the world knows. Take out the charger, that's not doing anything at the moment. Pretty sure this battery has been ruined from sitting so long. So, unlike most batteries, you know, that you just connect into the top and you'll just do that, this car has what's called side posts. So you actually screw into the front of this. And you can see all the chips and nicks on it from trying to do that. Because you think it'd be great to have rear mounted battery for weight distribution, everything like that. And it is. It helps with weight distribution. What it doesn't help with is access. Because most rear mounted batteries are in a trunk. They're in a compartment in the back of the car. But guess what? A 610 Corvette has no trunk. As most Corvettes until the 90s. So, it is behind the seat. So when you get into the car, you have to fold the seat up. And then you have 3 little storage compartments. And you think, oh, well that's nice and organized. You have one for your tire jack, you have one for just miscellaneous crap, and then you have the battery one. And then you shove a battery into this little tiny hole. And this is just big enough for a battery. And then you have these super short. Let me get a light here, real quick. You have the battery terminals here, but you have these little tiny screws on the ends of these wires that you have to screw into the front of the battery, which are like back here. And so when you're doing that, you're constantly cutting yourself on the edge of this little cupboard, door latch, door frame, whatever you want to call it, just trying to put those on. And you have like half an inch of space. So, if I ever meet the man who designed the battery or electrical system for this car, I'm going to hate him and complain viciously about it. So what we need to do is we're replacing these so I can have top post mounted batteries. So one goes underneath the car to the frame, and then one goes in here and somewhere inside the actual thing. So we're gonna have to take out the makes more sense. So the other one comes here. And what the heck happened to this video? There it goes. Anyway. Yeah. So battery cable comes from here, goes into here, and goes somewhere in there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to fix that. So to start with, found a way to mount this camera so it doesn't die. We're gonna have to shove those battery cables out. Oh, and the other part about this door that is awful, is it opens just far enough to close. And then because I don't have a latch on it, I need to get little things stick in there and pull it back out. So it's not like I'm a bit, salty. But after 15 years of dealing with a really, really dumb electrical system, I am super excited. Because the electrics on this car have always been an issue ever since I first owned it. And I finally just got to the point where now I'm just replacing the entire electrical system as far as I can. But super excited. I know it's a real dumb thing to be excited about, but it's okay. So we're gonna shove the batteries out. You'll see that they have a little grommet just to seal the battery compartment off from everything. You're gonna have to push that grommet through. The one goes underneath is the shorter one. Just push it through the floor and replace it with this one that goes in the replace this one so it goes to the top of the battery, not the front of it anymore. So let's head over there. We're just gonna turn off this little camera. I don't think you're gonna see much from me just walking around the car. Again, the hardest part about YouTube is getting an actual angle of the shot that doesn't look stupid. Alright, so pick that back up, and we'll finish. Pop that grommet. Alright, so the grommet's gonna come out the top. So that means we need to disconnect pull underneath, then pull it up. Alright, so we need to go on another adventure. Find out where underneath the car it connects. One day I'm actually gonna get like 5 or 6 cameras and just position them around, and then you can just switch between cameras or something and see what I'm doing. But until then, we're just gonna do it this way. Alright. Let's just find out where this is. Under the car we go. So this wire here, here's the one that we're trying to get out, and it literally just connects directly below it. So that's all we have to do. Let's come in here and undo this bolt. It shouldn't be too terribly difficult. going to continue to just randomly guess which ones are which. Because someone that was prepared would have looked at the actual manual. But, as you guys know it, we just kind of wing it and hope we figure it out. And that's kind of one of the big things I want to prove is I'm not a mechanic, trained mechanic in any fashion. I have just been doing this in my garage since I was a kid. So, if I can do it, anyone can do it. You don't need to go to a special school. You don't need to do all this other stuff to work on your own cars. It's actually pretty simple. The biggest thing that you have to get past is literally just having the tools to do the work. So you'll see that anyone can do the work. It's just about having the right tool. And most tools don't cost you hardly anything. I think so far the most expensive tool you've seen me use is a large wrench that probably cost a couple bucks. Oh, I way overshot. Okay. We'll mark that down as a as a loss on guessing which the right size is. I've seen other streamers do it. We'll figure out how to set up a gambling thing on the stream or something where we can make bets with fake money and things like that. Just see how bad I am at guessing what the right size socket is. Hey, so it is a 5/8. Getting the right leverage. Oh, I'm so excited. So we just call that one out that hole, and then shove the new one down in the hole. I'm just trying to get the grommet. That's kind of the harder part. I'm just trying to get this grommet to feed into place. I'm gonna try and do actually. Get this ground with the seat because I don't want to. We're gonna come up underneath. Stick. In this way. Let's see if we can do it this way. Something doesn't fit, brute force is always the way. In. This is the hardest part of being a mechanic because you guys can kind of see what's going on. From my angle, I can't see anything. I am just literally hit the screwdriver in the right spot to be able to push on this. Now. Dang it. I pushed it down through further. Uh, let's try from the top again. Okay, out in through the top was the much smarter way to go. See, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. You're an idiot like me that tries to do it completely wrong. We'll get it right eventually. So, alright, next we gotta screw that bolt back in. Well, interesting that the bolt doesn't actually fit through the hole on the thing. So, kidding me. we're gonna have to drill out that little opening in the wire. And it looks like somebody drilled it out on the old one too. So that's why this bolt doesn't fit. They can't just replace it because the hole in the frame now is the size of the bigger bolt. So I need this big old drill bit to ream out the hole in the cable. So you're gonna find this from time to time on older cars, is over the 60 years of the life of the car, someone went, oh, I don't have the right thing, or I have to make slight modifications because somebody did something years and years ago. This is why you should check these things before you install them, because then you end up like me, having to remount a cable after it's installed. Yep, so you just take a drill bit, wiggle it around basically. And widen up the hole until you just take the drill bit, ream it around, and widen up the hole until the bolt will actually fit through it. Alright, so now the hard part is just twisting and bending the wires to fit correctly. Alright, and then that is one battery cable down. And we'll go back inside and work on the other one. There we go. Okay, you got a little dust on there. You got a little dust on there. Put the camera back on the mount. Nothing like a... No dusting off. We're moving on to the next place. Alright. Off to the interior. Figure out what we have to take out of this very blue interior. Be able to get to the battery cable. So why are we shaking uncontrolled, camera? Camera. Relax. Yes, it is having a seizure, Titan. Alright, let's see if it has a seizure again. Okay, it doesn't like it when it flips itself around. Stop auto-flipping. Alright, so we have the battery cable out for one side and needs to go to the other side. So we have to figure out where it runs. If we come in here, I'm just gonna take this off the tripod for a second. So how's your day going, Titan? Alright. So we have this other cable that if I grab my light, you'll be actually able to see. This other cable here that runs that way. And we have to pull that out. It looks like it runs into the center console, so I'm gonna have to take the center console off. Once I take this off, which this is 2 screws in the front, 1 screw in the back. And we'll figure it out. Well, happy birthday to your wife. And don't keep me all. Probably put her first rather than watching a stream. So. To get there, I have to go through the other cabinet to get to the bolt. So this is why whoever made the electrical system in a 69 Corvette, I don't like, because I have to go into this one to get to access a bolt. Way back there somewhere. Yeah, that way. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So let's start by taking apart the interior. It's just, why not does it take? Why shouldn't it take taking apart the interior to replace that battery cable? I'm gonna get some screwdrivers. Do I get the yellow? Well, if you move to Florida, maybe you do. Or you can have one of the other cars eventually that we're gonna get, because we're gonna get some salvage cars and actually work on that on the channel. Alright, there's a couple. Okay, we don't need to auto zoom. Undo that. Let's not auto zoom. And anyone that owns one will know that it's not, it's not German level fit and finish in a old Corvette. It kind of is just, well, let's just put it this way. There are self-tapping screws that they use for putting the interior in. So, you don't really expect it to be fit and finish really well. And now the other version of is here. And you can see it. That is awesome. So yeah, I'm glad that the multiple different ways to stream you can actually see chats. And all the chats are on there. Yeah, I don't know how to chat on X either. I don't know if you need, I don't think you can do it on a phone. I think you have to do it from a computer, unfortunately. But good to know that it's actually working on the multiple platforms. So it's another game of guess the socket size. So what do you think of the idea of gambling while on stream? I think it would make it more fun and interactive. Of doing stupid gambling things of, does he guess the right socket size for the bolt that he can't even see? But that time, I guessed right. That's the first one of the day. I guessed right. Actually, I have to figure out which way's left. Again, whoever designed this, I hate them so much. Why in the world would you fold for this? Luckily, it feels like since the last time I've taken this off, I didn't actually tighten the bolt. So luckily, it's just coming off. Well, check. The battery cable is not running, is it? It comes here. It could be because you have 3 streams going. Yeah, it looks like the cable doesn't actually... It looks like it enters the driver's compartment, but it looks like it... I don't feel it or see it. So, let's actually bust out the book. What I have here is the actual assembly manual that they used when they built the actual car. So, seats, doors, framing, engine, transmission, section 12. What the hell is section 12? J259. So I'm not a completely useless mechanic. I do read things. I don't guess all the time, but I guess most of the time. Alright. Electrical systems. System for the headlights. More headlights. Oh man, it does. Okay, so according to this book, which it makes sense, the positive for the battery cable runs off the battery and then straight to the starter motor. So that's what we saw last stream. We saw the cable coming from the starter motor going back into the tunnel, and I wasn't 100% sure what it is, but now I know. That is the positive for the battery. Well, crap. That routing is over the top of the starter motor back. It doesn't look too terrible, but I don't have very much time left today, and I'm gonna have to jack up the entire car and have it sitting up on a plane to be actually able to do this. So I think that can be the next stream. Because you learn with a car, especially an old car, you never ever get to finish anything. And the super tarry wire stuff that we used at the very beginning of the stream is still wet. So next stream, which should be Tuesday at the latest. Alright, see you later, Travis. I'm closing down anyway, so thank you guys for joining. Next stream we'll actually finish up the wire harness and battery terminals and hopefully be able to actually get the car started. But happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, especially you, Titan. Adios.